going to show you how to remove a student loan from your credit report, and I'm going to give you the secret to getting those 90-day late payments off your credit report. So make sure you stay to the end so that you can learn not only how to remove student loans, but also how to remove late payments, write a dispute reason for a student loan, how to write a dispute letter for a student loan, and how to choose a dispute method for a student loan. Did you know that there's $1.75 trillion in total student loan debt? I thought that was crazy. And there's 1.31 million consumers that have 31 to 90-day late payments on their credit report for student loans. And there's $968 billion in total debt and forbearance. That is crazy. Now, here's the deal. Why does this matter? Student loans can virtually be impossible to remove. So if they're not done the right way, then it may just not happen at all. And that's why we're going over my student loan mini course, all right? And I'm going to show you all those things that I promised, so make sure you stay to the end and subscribe if you haven't done so, and you can use that link at the top of your screen to schedule a call with me to see if I can remove negative items from your credit report. Let's get to the student loan mini course. Now, I already told you what we're going to cover, so we're going to skip this first part. You can use the link in the description to access this yourself. I have a couple of flashcards, and we're going to use these to learn whether to update or remove the account. If the account is paid and is older than your other accounts, leave this account. You do not want to change your scorecards, and you also don't want to change the total length of credit history as well as your average length, all right? So to leave this account and try to clean it up, dispute the oldest late payment that you can see in an attempt to get them to remove the late payment history for failure to legally verify. This account is unpaid and the oldest on your credit file. Normally you would remove it. However, you need to decide if removing it will jeopardize the credit score. If you decide to dispute it for removal, my recommendation would be again to go after the late payment history. And you can do this by attacking first day of delinquency, 90 late payments, if there's no 30 or 60 day lates prior to that, and other charge-off reasons like date less active, date less paid. Dispute the late payment history as inaccurate or inconsistent between the bureaus, if true, to clean it up. All right, so card number 3, the account shows 90-day late payments without 30 or 60-day lates and less than 6 or 7 consecutive late payments, and there are positive late payments after the lates. The account is not currently late. You can normally dispute this for update or correction. Dispute the 90-day lates as inaccurate because there should be 30 and 60-day lates prior to that 90-day late payment. Choose one of those lates, preferably the oldest, and ask for the late payment history to be removed for inaccuracy. And you may alternately choose to go after each late payment separately to increase the chance of correction. Obviously, this is going to take a little bit longer, but you want it to take longer and actually achieve your goal. There's no on-time payments after the late, and or the account has been sent to collections and or has been transferred or sold due to an unpaid balance. So this is pretty straightforward. You'll need to remove this account. There's no way to update an account that ends in late payments because the status 120 days late, 90 days late, charged off, transferred and sold, etc. will not change regardless of the late payment history. So even if you go and remove those late payments, it's still going to say charged off or 90 days later. You can do this in a few ways. Dispute the late payments as mentioned before, but ask for deletion for inaccuracy instead of correction or update, or treat it as a charge off and go after the date last active, date last paid, etc. Number 5, the account was unpaid and is not older than the other accounts and reports 6+ late payments like 90 to 120 days late. And remember, you're going to want to stay to learn whether you want to correct or remove it, how to correct these, what to do if it's verified as accurate, how to write your dispute reasons, and how to write your dispute letter. All right. So it's more than likely the best option to delete this account because the late payment history on the account will not change and will not result in a credit score increase. All right. The account is paid and is not older than the other accounts and reports 6+ late payments like 90 to 180 days late, or the status is harmful, right? Like 120 to 180 days late, transferred, sold, delinquent, so on and so forth. So you're going to want to remove this account. It's more than likely not going to increase your credit score, and it's also not going to decrease your credit score by removing it. So the account is charged off, sold, or transferred due to unpaid balance, currently late without a plan to pay, delete it. Go after the lates as described earlier, charge off reasons like date less active, date less paid, notice of dispute, payment history, etc. Unfortunately, there's no way to correct this without paying. Here's the last one for the account reports a handful of 30 to 60 day late payments and does not end in late payment. This can be corrected. Force them to verify these lates by first asking for correction because you were not late on those dates. The only way to legally verify late payments is for them to furnish their bank statement copies, and they're not going to do that. If that does not work, you can challenge for failure to investigate because they would otherwise be able to furnish documentation, and you can dispute the oldest lates to make it harder for them to verify. You can go after the notice of dispute if they fail to mark the as disputed within 30 days. Check if all three bureaus report the same information. All right, so you may be wondering why these accounts report 90 to 120 day late payments without prior late payments. Some creditors do not report a consumer as late until they're 90 days late. And if you look at this logically, it means that the payment history is inaccurate. Accurate if it's okay 90, it's missing 30 or 60, right? The secret to removing these late payments or removing the entire account. The payment history is not accurate if it shows okay 120 because it's missing 30 through 120 days late. The payment history should report as okay 30, 60, 90. If the account was reported as okay 90, the two okay payments are inaccurate, and you can use this to update the account to reflect okay. I've encountered 2 times in 7 years where the bureaus updated the account to reflect the true late payments. The logic behind this is just because you do not report the consumer as late until 90 days, it doesn't mean it's accurate per FCRA regulations. The payment history should be updated to reflect 0 late payments. Here are some ways to write your dispute reasons, right? Navient account number, blah, blah, blah. And here is going to be your reason. So if you want to update that account, you can say remove the 90-day late payment on date for inaccuracy because there's no prior 30 or 60 day late payments. To update, remove the late payment history for inaccuracy on dates because I paid on time. Remove the account. Delete this account because the late payments on date shows 90 days late without prior 30 or 60 day late payments. I was not late on date. Delete this account for inaccuracy. Second to last, delete this account because all 3 bureaus report different payment history between dates to date. Delete this account for violation because the notice of dispute was not entered within the required 30-day time frame. The collection as a charge-off. If you have U.S. Department of Education collections, this is how you're going to handle them. You'll want to dispute using the pyramid method and go after date less active, date less paid, payment history, notice of dispute, activity after close date, etc. For disputing late payments, dispute the date of first delinquency, activity after the close date or after the account was charged off, inconsistent late payments between all 3 bureaus, and violations. Notice of dispute, failure to report accurate late payment history after notification of inaccuracy, account activity after it was closed. And now there is this video. It's 2 minutes and 53 seconds that will show you specifically on a credit report what you should be looking for and how to handle it. You can access this by going to vault.my740.com and just go down to the mini course for student loans. All right, so what do you do when the bureaus verify these accounts as accurate? This is very important. So many consumers give up instead of using a new dispute reason. You need to understand that the bureaus are there to get you to stop disputing by frustrating you, stalling you, scaring you, and by using their #1 method, which also happens to be free. It's ignoring you, right? So your accounts are going to be verified as accurate until they're removed. This means that when they tell you they didn't understand the nature of your dispute, you didn't submit identification that was clearly submitted with the dispute letter, and they tell you that they're not going to reinvestigate without new information, there's only one thing to do. Find the next best dispute reason using the pyramid method and send in a new dispute. While this may sound simple, it's not, and so many consumers fall victim to this. As long as you're using factual disputes and submit 1 reason per account per letter and remain patient, use the right reasons and inaccuracies and violations, you'll remove or correct the account if it is possible to remove it. Now, here's a caveat. Some accounts cannot come off. There's no way to force them, even if you take them to court. When use what you have available to achieve the best results possible. This is how you write a dispute letter for student loans. It does not have to be difficult, but it does need to include the required information to ensure that you actually get an investigation that results in a correction or deletion. Now, keep in mind that the bureaus have one job: reject, deny, frustrate. Disputing difficult accounts like student loans, remember that there will be multiple rounds of disputes and there's no shortcut to getting permanent results. We're going to click on each of these and you're going to be able to see what it is. This is simple. Include your name, full address, date of birth, full social, and the current date. Don't backdate. The bureau's name and address. Your first paragraph is the only paragraph. Tell them why you're sending this letter, what you want them to do, and optionally ask for a new credit report. Example: I got in a car accident and need to replace my vehicle. Unfortunately, when I pulled my credit report, I noticed inaccurate information that will keep me from getting the best interest rate. I need a working car. Please send me a new credit report reflecting these changes. Okay. So the opening paragraph, like I said, the only thing that goes into it is the relevant information. You can include previous attempts. I'm not sure how you verified this last month or why you think this information is still inaccurate, but there's one thing for you to remember. The key to removing your accounts has nothing to do with the text body and everything to do with the dispute reasons listed account. Here's an example: Navient account number, blah, blah, blah. The late payment history shows a 90-day late payment, but no 30 or 60-day late payment exists prior to that. Please remove this inaccurate late payment of 90 days on date 2018. We are using the Agero formula to write our dispute reasons, and this is the formula that I've used over the last 4 years to remove over 50,000 negative items from clients' credit files. Use the link at the top of your screen if you want to see if I can do this for you. So this is how you're going to write it. So you're going to have your creditor name and account number, such as Capital One 517805 or Navient. You're going to have your dispute reason formula: action, justifier, reason, element, outcome. Action: delete, remove, correct, update what you are disputing, such as the date last active, that's the element. The reason why you're disputing it, 3 different dates on each bureau for late payment history. Justifier is because. Outcome, optional: update this account to paid as agreed, never late. So put it all together: delete this account because the date last active shows 3 different dates on each bureau. Or correct the late payments because I was not 90 days late on 2/2018, and update to paid, never late. Does that make sense? As a closer, thank you for your attention and your name, right? So this is simply just to thank them or otherwise close your letter so it looks more human. An example: thanks for your attention. I would appreciate your expedited attention. Thank you in advance for your independent investigation of this account information. Add your name. Now drag the words into the correct box. Okay, so this is a quiz and there are 4 parts, I believe. So the best method to update late payments to reflect 0 lates when the late payments begin at 90 days and account does not end in late payment and there are less than 6 lates is to dispute the missing 30 and 60-day late payments. And Nelnet and Navient are notorious for reporting late payments inaccurately and normally do not list the consumer as late until the 3rd month. It is advisable to dispute the oldest late payment as inaccurate to increase chances of removing the late payments. It is not advisable to dispute more than 6+ late payments for correction because the likelihood is slim. Right? You'll need to determine if deleting the account or leaving it on the credit report because of its age would be the best. All right. So here is number 2. Your goal is to remove a federal student loan. The loan reflects 90 to 180 day late payments in multiple sections of the payment history going back 5 years. The account has a balance of $80,000. High balance is $52,426. Past due is 0, 63, 62,100. What is the best dispute flow for this account, assuming the account information does not change? Here are our 3 options, and I already showed you which one is correct. The best way to remove a federal student loan is to dispute the lack of contract. The government will not furnish my signed documentation. This one is incorrect. Unless you want endless circles, this is not how student loans, charge-offs, foreclosures, repossessions, or credit cards should be disputed. The factual reasons why virtually always yield higher and faster results. Now, the second incorrect one: payment history. Late payment should not start at 90 days late. 2, past due, reported inconsistently. 3, date less active, etc. The late payment history gets disputed after disputing figures such as high balance and past due. The correct one is high balance less than the current balance of $80,000 because high balance is always the highest balance ever. Then the past due because 3 figures, and then payment history missing 30 and 60-day late payments. What is the best way to dispute a private, unpaid, charged off student loan? Hint: we're disputing for removal. All right, and we have 3 different options. Dispute the balance. It's charged off. There should not be a balance on a charge off. Dispute lack of a contract. There's no way they'll be able to furnish it. Number 3, check for blatant inaccuracies. If none exist, go down the hierarchy for charge-offs. Check the date last active. Are these all different dates, months, and years? Dispute this as inaccurate and ask for deletion. B, if the dates are the same or virtually the same, check the date last paid and follow the same procedure. 3, if the dates are the same or virtually the same, check the payment history. Are there late payments or any activity, even charge off in the payment history after the account was charged off? Unless it's an actual payment, there should be no activity after this account was closed. If so, dispute the inaccuracy for deletion. If not, find the oldest late payment and dispute it as inaccurate and ask for deletion. Treat the account as a charge off and follow the hierarchy and pyramid method when dealing with private student loans. Okay. As far as whether you want to get additional help or find out if student loans can actually be removed from your own credit report, then I do have a couple different links for you to access where you can get more help. So you can actually access this course at vault.my740.com. This right here, vault.my740.com. I will throw the link up on the screen if you want to see if I can do a credit sweep for you, because obviously there is no learning curve for me. This is what I do every day and have been doing for 12 years. You can go to my740.com. If you want to access all of my offers, you can go to sendme2.co/offers. And you can find 1,150 or more free credit repair videos on my YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe. All right. That is it for today. If you have questions about this, post it down in the comments. And again, if you need help, head over to my740.com, schedule a call with me, and we will see what we can do together. All right. But if you want to access that student loan mini course, head over to vault.my740.com. Make sure to smash that. See you